Hello and welcome to the Perth Blue Baggers pod. My name is Louis, your host.
And I'm Marty on special comments.
So today we'll be doing our review of round 22 against Gold Coast, which was a loss unfortunately. But then we'll also be doing our usual preview with our clash against Port Adelaide at Marvel. So let's get into the Suns game, round 22. I think our last quarter overshadowed with great effort. No doubt there was effort there, but it overshadowed some of the other faulty parts of our game still.
Yes, so this was a bit different to some of our other ones in that it wasn't that we completely dropped the bundle in one quarter, although the third quarter was pretty bad. But we're consistently outplayed for the first three quarters, which was disappointing. And then we almost pulled a miraculous victory out. But, I mean, really, being down by 45 points was too much anyway at three-quarter time. And you needed everything to go right. And a lot of things did go right. You know, we kicked 5 goals, 5. We could have kicked 7 or 8. That would have made it really interesting. I was really pleased to see the boys really kick on in the last quarter and fight it out. But you are right, it did mask what was a pretty disappointing first three quarters.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, that should be looked at a little bit more in detail than even the last quarter. But, effort is what we want to see. And what would you have to say about sort of the notion that that we're lowering the standard by just seeking effort every week?
Well, you've got to find positives. I mean, you can't just wring your hands and be negative about everything, can you? And effort really does matter because if it's the non-negotiable part of what you do, there's clearly some areas where we're falling short. You know, we don't execute as well, we don't link up as well, we're not able to move the ball as quickly as we should. Those things are structural things, sometimes they take time to fix, but effort should be there every single week.
Yep. And even in wins, you have effort. The crucial step towards a turnaround, I believe, is effort.
I think that is important.
Can't be lowering the standard if that is commonly a feature of wins. Effort.
Well, when you talk about Vossi and the decision to retain him for 26, if the team was consistently failing to provide effort, I think he would be gone.
Yeah.
So one thing we have seen from the team, and I'm sure there might be people who disagree, but most games, the effort's there. I think that there's been times where the effort hasn't. I mean, I think that game against North Melbourne was appalling.
Yeah.
There's been other times too where I just think they dropped their heads a bit. But for the most part, that's not been the case. I think there's actually other reasons why. Like I said, they can't move the ball well. They're not kicking well inside 50s. And there are some poor decision making and poor execution. Even if they've gone the right option, they haven't executed the right way.
Yeah.
There's the fact that we're a contested ball team and we're good at that, but we're not so good at uncontested, efficiency.
Yeah.
These things. So those problems are fairly well diagnosed.
Yeah.
There's a mixture of really working hard on how, in the coaching and technical sense on those issues. And there's also the other part of that mixture is getting the right player profile so that you've got really good runners who deliver the ball well.
Yeah.
And clearly we need more of those. So, they're the sorts of things that I expect the whole football department will be working on in the off-season.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, what are we expecting? We're expecting a lot of effort. We're expecting a lot of pressure on the ball. And we're expecting that they turn up every week. They're professionals, week in, week out.
Yeah. Yeah, you make a good point with effort. Pressure as well. When we drop off in our pressure, we fall apart. And then defence is under threat. So what we did see in that last quarter was extreme pressure that was reminiscent of 2023, and the commentators were remarking about it too.
That sort of frenzied attack on the ball, frenzied attack on your opponent when they've got the ball.
So much desperation.
The desperation, a lot of that was there. It was really amazing. One of my highlights was watching Frankie Evans outmark Mac Andrews. Mm-hmm. How good was that?
Yeah.
Look, another interesting thing about the game was normally we do really well in contested possessions and not so well in uncontested. This time they were pretty even, both of them.
Yeah.
There wasn't much between
I
the
reckon
teams.
they might have evened out after that last quarter, though.
Yes, that's true. But I'm saying
Yeah.
before that last quarter, we're clearly behind in contested possessions, where it's normally a strength for us.
Yeah, true.
So
Matt Rowell was tearing us apart and Toot Miller.
Well, they've got a good midfield.
Yeah.
In fact, they've got a lot of talent down every single line, Gold Coast. From their point of view, it's mostly just about consistency. There's always the accusation that the opposition's put the cue in the rack at 3/4 time, and maybe there was a bit of that early in the fourth. But if Gold Coast were just cruising, surely they woke up. They should have woke up before they did. It was they only kicked the last goal of the game. Until then, they did nothing in the fourth quarter.
Yep. And let's not forget, we did have some of our own chances to put, make a miraculous comeback. I think Durden missed one, Moyer missed one.
And they were gettable ones. They really were gettable ones. I think someone kicked it out of bounds on the full
Fogarty,
as well.
Williams kicked one out of bounds on the full.
Yeah. So there was opportunities.
But Gold Coast had some opportunities to ice the game as well, but they didn't.
Well, what you've got to remember is that we did kick 11-8, they kicked 13-15.
Yes.
So, yes, we might have missed a few, but they missed more.
Yeah. So keep that in mind. I think we've covered everything in that respect. Let's get into some of the player stats, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 votes, because how exciting it was. It's always a highlight of our day, normally, when there is players to talk about. Only one game, I think, when we... You gave 2 votes, 5 votes to someone and 4 votes to someone.
I ran out of people to give it to. This time, I think there was a number of good performers. Frankie Evans gets Ollie Hollins gets my 5 votes.
Yeah.
Learning on about Frankie, he's in the votes too. But Ollie Hollins was fantastic. I think he had the most touches that he'd ever had in his career. Yes, he might have made the odd error here or there, but he was really good. He was really good in the third quarter, even when we were under the pump, which I'm often looking for. Yeah. And we talked about effort, and he had that in spades. Yeah. So I just loved his game, and it's just he's one guy who's had a red hot crack all year.
Yep. So Ollie Hollins had 29 disposals, 6 ground balls, 7 intercepts, 626 metres gained, which is a game high there.
And that was by far the most.
Yeah, I think everyone was at 400 or something after that.
Yeah, well, he had 626, and our next best was 466.
Yeah. Also had 4 score involvements and 2 goal assists. We like the goal assists. So, get on to your next player.
So, Frankie Evans was good for the 4 votes. Best game of his career. 4 goals straight. There's a guy who kicked them early, kicked them late. And it wasn't just the goals that he kicked as well. He had 2 score involvements. He was amongst 7. It all. 7 score involvements and 2 goal assists. That's what I was confusing with. That's an exceptional effort. And you know what? He's smarts. He lowered the eyes and found opponents, found his teammates.
Yeah.
Time and again. And that's a really impressive effort. So hats off.
Kudos to him, yeah. So he had 16 disposals, 81% disposal efficiency, so nice and composed there. 5 marks, 7 score involvements, 2 goals, obviously 2 goal assists, obviously the 4 goals. 460 metres gained, which is good there too, and 4 inside 50s. Next player for you.
Yeah, so hard to go past that. He was fantastic. Cooper Lord was great.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it when you're giving votes to people who haven't necessarily got a lot of votes, because Cooper Lord, he's another guy who's had a pretty good year. I mean, this is the guy who either started either out of the team or on the sub for the first half a dozen games at least, I think, before he's regularly starting. And there was a bit of concern about his tank, and that's something he's worked away on, obviously, because he's got better and better, I think, as the year's gone on.
Yeah.
And one big stat, 12 tackles.
Oh.
That is a fantastic effort. Easily the most on the field, 50% more than the second highest. by Cripps and a couple of Gold Coast players. So just a fantastic effort, 24 touches, and he was, he was right in amongst it, and his effort was really impressive, I thought.
I have a few more stats here as well to make note of. 7 clearances, 7 score involvements, 18 pressure acts, 431 metres gained, 6 inside 50s and 5 ground ball gets.
So, really impressive. Cripps gets 2 for me. Look, he always keeps going at it, 27 touches, so second most for Carlton. And, he does a bit of everything. Yeah, still amongst the tackles, amongst the clearances. He had I think, quite a few pressure acts as well.
23, yeah.
Yeah, so always works hard, Cripps, and the 2 votes for mine. And I thought Harry Mackay was pretty good.
Yeah.
So he gets the 1 vote for me. 3 goals straight from Harry. He slotted in one beautiful one for the goal line, for right on the boundary line, when he really needed it. And I stood up tall in the last quarter too, which I thought was impressive. And I saw lots of chase down and tackles and the like, extra effort from Harry Mackay. I think without Curnow, he was the main target. So he had to, he attracted a lot of their defence.
Mm-hmm. 3 people hanging off him.
I think it's people have been remarking that he hasn't always got the good end of the stick with the umpiring too.
No, yeah.
Harry. But loved his work rate. So 1 vote for Harry.
Yep. So he had 6 marks, which were quite contested, most of them, and 6 scoring balls. So good job, team. So I'll go into mine. I do vary a little bit. 5 votes for Evans. I thought he was exceptional with his impact, especially late. 4 for Lord. Great, what a star. Hollands for 3. Now, my only reason why I put him down low is because he did have those 8 turnovers. So a little costly at times, but you can't deny the effort. So effort alone normally gets you into these votes. Extreme effort. I've given Cowan 2 votes. So I really liked his dare and run through the middle, especially late. It was something to behold. He had 22 disposals, 82% disposal efficiency, so nice and composed. 5 marks, 453 metres gained and 4 rebound 50s. And 1 vote finally to Cripper. My only concern with Cripper, and now thinking about it, probably should have swapped him out with Mackay. Yes, he got 27 disposals and 8 tackles, but lacked 5 scoring involved was a little low for my liking, and 4 inside 50s, 4 clearances. I think he would want to rack up a bit more than that.
Yeah, I think it's it's probably he's had a few games like this where he's worked very hard.
Yeah,
he's still one of our better players. Probably hasn't had quite the impact that he might have had in his Brownlow year, but let's face it, you're comparing him to a Brownlow year.
Yeah, exactly.
And to a year where he's polled the most votes under the current system, Brownlow system ever.
I think it's very much like his 2023 year, I think, just after his exceptional Brownlow year in 2022. Maybe it might come back next year.
Who knows? He gets it every even year.
Who knows?
I think he's still got plenty good footy in him.
Yeah. So watch his space. And one other player I'd like to talk about, 2 more players actually, Adam Sard. So it was a solid game, but too many ineffective dump kicks for my liking. So he did have 22 disposals, 91% disposal efficiency, 5 intercepts, 15 pressure acts, 428 metres gained, and 4 rebound 50s. But yeah, work on those dump kicks.
I might talk a bit more about Adam Sard's season when we have a sort of season review, I think, because it does really sort of mystify me. He's always playing deep. He gets the ball on the last line of defence. He's under pressure and he just hoofs it on the boot.
Yeah.
And often turns the ball over. I'm not quite sure why we're not playing him more at least half-back line where he can use his dash and his run and get into space and use that raking long left foot of his. Mm-hmm. The only thing I can think of is whether he's not fully fit.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense otherwise.
Yep, and you see him panting behind the pack, especially in some, because we're not there on the ground, but we can see, from kick-ins, he goes boots and then he just kind of just jogs or puts his hands on his hips. I don't think that's a sign of lack of effort. Maybe it's just simply trying to.
Well, maybe just his tank's not there at the moment. He has missed some footy.
Yeah.
He missed various games, and I think that's what it looks like for the outsider.
We don't want to speculate, but
it just doesn't look 100%.
Yeah.
And maybe that explains why they don't really want to unleash him. But Adam Sardi's best is when he's cutting through the opposition, running off half-back, setting up your attacks. And we've just seen nothing of that.
I don't think he's a trade. We should trade him yet. Who else? Zach Williams. So I did like his class and craft with his midfield minutes. So he had 17 disposals, 8 ground balls, 5 score involvements, 6 clearances, 4 inside 50s, and 2 goal assists. Again, another great effort, but something like, I think he had 8 turnovers as well. So a little ineffective in that sense. And I think he had a 65% disposal efficiency. But and he is making an impact in the midfield.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed him in the midfield. We're missing our live wire in Elijah Hollands, right?
Yeah.
But one thing about Elijah Hollands, he provided a bit of an X factor, and I think Williams is the closest thing we have to that at the moment. So he's got some genuine pace.
Yeah.
He knows how to run through and sort of pick up the ball on the run and then burst out and try and deliver it somewhere. I think every now and then, sometimes his efficiency is not as great as it should be.
Yeah.
But I think you do need a bit of a chaos factor in the middle, and when he goes forward, he's still got that sort of bit of chaos ball as well.
Yep.
So, and in a season where there hasn't been a lot to cheer about, I've generally thought he's had a pretty good season.
True, and relatively
he's strung some
healthy
games together,
as well.
Hasn't he? He's finally strung some games together.
How many games has he played?
I'll have to look that up.
I think we'll assess it at the end of the season. So that's all the players we want to talk about today. Hope you enjoyed that. It is probably the highlight of these podcasts, especially when you lose, to talk about player stats, unless there's only 2 people to actually talk about.
Well, he's on Zach Williams, 17 matches so far. That's not bad for him. There's been plenty of times when he's only played half the games. So he's definitely played more than that. I think he missed some games, but we just like seeing him out there. And let's hope he finishes the season strong.
Yep. What else? Let's get into the preview of round 23 against... who is it now? Port Adelaide again.
Well, we played them last time, and they really touched us up. They really destroyed us.
I think that's the time when we only had 2 people to give votes to.
I think that was one of those really disappointing games. So we really owe it to them. It's at home. We're at shorter odds than we should be.
How are we favourites? I don't know.
I don't know how we're favourites.
They almost beat Freo.
Our form's been really lousy.
Yeah.
I think the only reason why it might be even 50-50, in my view, is that their form hasn't been great overall.
Or I guess the home factor.
Yeah, and it is at Melbourne. So I do... that probably help us at Docklands. But, look, you couldn't be confident necessarily week in, week out tipping our boys.
Not confident for this one either.
I'm only going off what we saw early in the season, and they were just way too good for us. They beat us by 50 points.
Demolished us in the midfield.
Yeah, really early.
That was probably the biggest lack of effort I've seen. Maybe the Collingwood one was pretty bad too, actually. But
well, this one's right up there. It was 58-12 at half time.
And then there was the Cripper was speaking and saying buy in and stuff like that. We're really trying hard out there, and then they dished that up. So that's when we started losing real trust in the group.
Well, that was...
we gave up a hope after the loss to North, but this is when we lost trust.
Yeah, it was pretty poor.
Yeah.
It's pretty poor. I think it's up there as one of our 3 to 4 really bad games.
Yeah.
So
Well, at least it's not at Adelaide this time.
we've lost by 60 points by, I think it might be 53 and by 50, and this is the 50, and it's by a team that has never looked like playing finals this season.
I think they dropped the ball in the last quarter too, so probably could have been a bit more, and they were a little inaccurate.
Yeah, they did kick 16-14, but then we kicked 8-12.
But yeah, I think we hit back at
We
the last
kicked
quarter.
four goals in the last quarter.
Yeah.
So probably could have been worse.
Yeah. So keep that in mind. Players to look out for. Well, they got a potent key forward in Georgiades. So what? Hopefully Wiedering can do a job. Although him and Lewis Young, they alternated between Ben King. It's a bit worrying to see him kick, because I don't think I've ever seen a key forward kick a big bag on us like that in a while.
Very rare. I was disappointed to see how much he got off the chain,
Yeah.
and I think that said something that we weren't quite on our game there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a good player, Ben King. He's tall. He has a good run of the footy and whatnot, but still, I think that was quite disappointing.
Yeah. Aliyah in the defence. He hasn't quite set the world on fire this year, but I remember when we played against us, he was quite a brick wall. So yeah, he'll probably have a big game. Well, hopefully not, but who knows. Just looking at the AFL, yeah, they've given us by 9 points.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Look, it'd be good if we did. I mean, I routinely tip us anyway. Look, I think might be a bit in this for Port because it's Ken Hinkley's finishing up, obviously, in the season, and maybe they're trying to put a bit of effort in for
I reckon just save that for the week after. Like, give us a little bit of joy. But when we come to the Essendon game, we have to win that one, please.
I think that's
finish the end.
Yeah, you want to finish the season strong
against an enemy, and guess who just found out that it would be his 250th game will be Zach Merritt. That game too.
Oh, will it? Ah.
So hopefully we don't lose. Like, remember last year with the Scott penalties 400th.
That's right.
Spoiled our. We tried to spoil his party, but couldn't. In the end, and again because we left too much hard work at 3/4 time.
Well, at least we've got a couple of teams in the last two games that are around the same spot on the ladder with us.
Yeah.
So we're currently sitting 14th.
I'd like to.
Port Adelaide's 12 and Essendon's 15.
I'd like to think we're better than Melbourne because we beat them. We're better than St Kilda because we beat them. Probably not Port Adelaide, but if we beat Port Adelaide, I guess you could technically say even.
Well, if we lose our last two games, we're in danger of finishing bottom 4, which is pretty poor.
Yeah,
really.
No thanks.
So, Essendon have an extra game in hand against Gold Coast. I don't think we're going to win it. But that last, so we'll see how that last round goes. But look, one game at a time. Clearly, I think Port Adelaide's travelling a little bit better than us. But I'm still going to tip us by a couple of goals.
Go for it.
And I hope more than anything.
I haven't done my tips yet, so I better think about that soon. I'll go with my delusion and say that we'll get up by a nice 18 points. Well, that seems a bit large.
Oh, yeah, that does seem large.
I don't know. I don't know.
I hope you're right.
Anyway, thank you for tuning in once again. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow us on Instagram. Be very much appreciated. Up the Baggers.
Can the Blues.